right? But
Okay.
as of right now, that's something I will be comfortable with talking about. Because I don't want her to look like I don't want her to come off a certain way. As of right now, that situation is complicated, and she
Okay.
may not be able to speak to them at the moment. So it's not that it's not that, she probably doesn't want to. It's that they gave her some words that she may want to pause for a minute before she deals with them. It's a and that's another thing. The situation is a little more complicated than just, the app. Um, and so as of right now, he hasn't. I personally reached out to her on here, and I told her that Hezekiah is okay, everything is good, and that he loves her. She didn't respond back to me, but I did want to at least put that out there on my own, not, allowing him to talk to her at the moment, because I don't want her to get in trouble.
Right. Right. So she hasn't responded basically to
N-
your message.
No, but if I know anything about her, from what
Hmm.
I've known about her in the past, is when things get rough, she has a thing of pretending like things don't exist.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty sure she's going through some stuff that we probably don't see.
Okay, and before I ask you this next question, do you care if, or do you mind if I have Hezekiah as my thumbnail while we speak with you? I'll take it down, and if it's not okay, I won't do it at all.
Don't don't do it, because again,
Oh,
I
got you,
think
got
that
you, got you.
certain things may get her in trouble, and that's
Right,
not
and that's
what
what
I want
I,
to do.
because when you sent me the picture, I didn't, show anybody, and I didn't want
Yeah,
to show nobody online, and I was
yeah,
just making sure
yeah,
because I just felt like that would have been inappropriate,
yeah.
to show
I
the
don't
pictures
be,
of Hezekiah.
yeah, because I think it won't get me in trouble, but it may get her in trouble, and I
Right,
still have to be conscious of her because she's his mother. And
got you.
through the conversations I had with him, he loves his mom.
Hmm.
Does he agree with everything? Nah, he a smart kid. He don't agree with things. And even some of the things that grown adults have said, he said. And I'm blown away by his maturity. But in the situation that he was in, he had no choice but to grow up. I mean, you look at her daughter, she had to grow up. I mean, she
Hmm.
basically became a mom. You look at Jeremiah. As much as angry as he is, he's angry because he's forced to be an adult in a kid situation. All of those kids were forced to be older than what they were. So I don't really fault them for a lot of stuff that they go through. It's just that
Right.
they were forced to be older in situations where they don't have responsibilities of being somebody that's older. That's like one of us. That's like one of us paying, somebody restricting us from something, and we grown adults. We
Hmm.
gonna have a problem with it. That's how I think their mindset is kind of.
Okay. Okay. So, as far as of like, I know like people have seen, a lot of lives when, the kids were basically like returning the same energy that she gave them when it came to, cussing and, talking like, like kids not supposed to talk. And
Hmm.
so have you had any trouble with, Hezekiah's, mouth or, anything like
Um,
that?
no, no. So with one thing with me having boys, you set boundaries. That's already
Right.
from day one. It was set boundaries. I didn't scare them with
Mhm.
the boundaries. I was just like, yo. Actually, our first conversation with certain things was like, yo, I know this is a tough situation. And like I told him, I was like, listen, you don't have to call me dad. I said,
Mhm.
just, you just can't cuss me out. You can't curse. So if you feel like you want to curse, don't say it. Use other words. So I already
Mhm.
established that, yo, even when you frustrated, don't say certain things. Um,
Mhm.
but I'm okay with saying this. He talked to me, and one of the things that he said to me is he didn't like her being online. And he said to me, certain things, and then he said that, you know, because she wouldn't stop, we just started doing whatever we wanted to when she was online. Like, it was
Mhm.
almost like that was their defense mechanism for making her either get offline or, what I'm saying, pay attention to them, was to act crazy and do something stupid. That ain't the kids that I saw online is not the kids that I met that day. When I went to go pick them up, all of the kids were there and they were pleasant. You know what I'm saying? They did say hi to me. Um, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I had a couple feelings about certain things because you can't be telling my son you ain't got no daddy and I ain't gonna have no attitude. So
Well,
I had a little bit of attitude. I had a little bit of
I'm
attitude when I
happy
went
you brought
in.
that up. I'm happy you brought that
I
up.
I had an attitude when
So
I went
that
in,
that
but
that leads to the question I guess I want to know the most. How does he feel now knowing, and has he expressed how he feels now knowing that he has a dad? Because we've
oh,
heard us say
so
that he told him that you were
so let me
deceased.
say this. Let me finish that and I will tell you because um when when I got there and I was like, hey, I'm coming to pick up Hezekiah, of course they don't know how I look. So they're like, who is this dude? And so when I told him I was here to pick up Hezekiah, I'm his dad, Hezekiah looked at me and started smiling. So I'm like, okay, that's good sign. Then he went to go say bye to his brothers and sisters, and he was like, all right, I'm about to go. My dad is here. And then so they came out and they was like, your dad. And so they did say hi to me. They were very polite. Um, and then he was like, yep, we gotta go. And he just bolted for the door. He was ready to go. So I was
Oh
like,
wow.
all right, I'll follow you out then. So I actually followed
Oh.
him out. He was really ready to go, but Cooper already told me prior to all of this that, yo, your son is really ready to see you. He said, I'm telling you, he really ready to see you. And when I got there in that moment, when I seen him, like, he was happy. He was like, yo, let's go. I, it kind of picked up my spirit too, and he was ready to go.
Mm.
So it was one of those things. I couldn't hug him, I couldn't anything because he was ready to go. He didn't give me the opportunity to do any of that. He was ready to go out the door. Um, and but we were able to later on that day talk, and I was able to hug him, and before I put him to sleep, of course, kiss him on his forehead and tell him I love him. We haven't really had the conversation about, we haven't conversated about, everything and yet, but we have sporadic conversations. And one thing I told him, my son told me, don't treat him like he doesn't know what's going on. My 17-year-old, he, I raised him and, without his mom. And so he's been kind of coaching me through this, and he's like, don't treat him like he doesn't know. So when I talked to him, I was like, hey, I know this is a tough situation. I said, and I know I haven't been there, but I was like, hey, we'll figure all of this out together. And I said, I know I wasn't there, but from this point on, you'll always have me there. And I said, and I know my words may not reach you right now. I said, so I'll act on them. And I said, and I asked him, do you understand what I mean? And he said, he looked at me and he was like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So he understood that, what I was saying to him, and I'm gonna be there for him. And like I told him, I got your back, through everything from this point on. Forgive me for what has happened. I got you from this point on.
That is so.
I'm
Oh
happy.
my God, that just feels my heart.
Yeah. And listen, I said this the other day. He is He is still, his mother is still Muriel. He
Mhm.
is not going to hold back his words. He, when he say something, he says it. You know, he ain't shy of talking. That's the one thing I will
Mhm.
say. Like his mom, he's not shy of talking. So with him not being shy of talking, I think it also makes things a little easier too, because you know I'm not forcing him to talk. I ask him a question. You want to answer it. You don't want to answer it, and if he wants to answer it, he will. He hasn't really not answered anything so far. But I'm also not going to grill him about what happened in the house, what was going on. I don't. I he's with me now. I don't, it's not that I can care less, but I
Mhm.
don't want to traumatize him any more than he has been from whatever he has went through. So
Right.
I haven't questioned him about anything.
Okay. So if you want to like just address if you feel comfortable with addressing to the people as far as of the years, of you not being around Hezekiah up until now. Um do you want to explain the reason why, or just kind of like shorten it up as far as of
I
why
don't I don't I don't really think it's I don't really think it's anything I can
necessary?
explain about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wasn't there. It's more complicated than she makes it out to be. It wasn't
Right.
so for for her, she put it out as I didn't try.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't feel like it was a need for me to you know explain myself to anybody um that really wasn't trying to hear it. She explained to it for 8 years. I didn't try. I did try.
Right.
I
Yeah,
did try.
you did more
There
than
were
what you were
there
supposed
were
to, but go ahead.
yeah,
Hmm.
I paid child support. So there
Right.
had to be a point where me and her went to court, right?
Hmm.
So there was times when I would try to see him and she would give me an address, and then it was an old address. It was times when I went to go see her. I tried to go and see her, and it was a gate. The gate, I couldn't get through, and I called the gate, called her, and they wouldn't let me through the gate. There were times where she was living in one city. I finally got information from the court where she lived, and I know I shouldn't be just popping up, but I decided that I was going to try to pop up, and then she wasn't living there anymore. Her situation has always been constant moving, moving, moving. So at some point, and when I would address certain things, she would get uglier and meaner, and so one of the things that I didn't want to do is create a situation where she would be going at my kid, because she was angry and
Hmm.
frustrated at me. So I felt like it was, to back up.
Right.
And I did a lot of praying. I
Hmm.
did a lot of praying. And a lot of times when you do a lot of praying, you got to be patient. Um and even, and I had to be a lot patient, and I had to be prayerful. And I may have not handled it the best way I should have, or the best
Hmm.
way I could have. But I was doing what I thought was best. And
Right.
again, as parents, how many times have we did something that we thought was best and it really wasn't? It's just
Right.
mine's just was noticeable. Sometimes as parents, it's not always noticeable. Mine's was noticeable. And I can't take those 8 years back. But what I can do is figure out how at this point I can make things better for him,
Right.
and going forward. But I made a mistake. For guys who haven't been there, listen,
Hmm.
my stepson, his dad wasn't around for a while. And one thing I
Hmm.
told him is, until the day your dad died, you can have a relationship with him. So guys who in situations like, with me, who aren't dealing with their kids, find a way
Hmm.
to deal with them. It's not too late. If you don't know how to approach it, somebody said it on here. You better
Hmm.
be prayerful. Pray to God to see how to deal with it. Because I didn't know
Yes.
what to do. I didn't understand what I would do. I was nervous the whole time going to pick him up. I didn't,
Mhm.
I was nervous. You know, I didn't know what to say to him. I didn't know how to say it to him. And for a lot of men, when we don't know how to do something, it's easiest for us to just, go to a cubby hole. And
Right.
and that's kind of, I'm an engineer. That's kind of the thing we do. We go into a corner and we figure out the solution in the problem. The problem is I'm an engineer. That's my title. That's not, I'm a dad. Those two worlds should be separate. And I think I was combining those two together when I was dealing with this situation. So I had to mature up, about some things. And my other sons had some things to say to me about it too. You know what I'm saying? I listened to my other
Right.
boys talk to me about it too. Like, yo, dad, nah, if that's our brother, go and get him.
I know that's right.
If that's if
I know
that's
that's
if
right.
that's if he belonged to one of us, go and get him. And that's how it was.
And that's how it's supposed to be. And that's why I said, like, Hezekiah, that was my favorite. And it's like, I'm trying to, keep the onion from away from my eyes right now. Just bear with me because
Yeah.
I'm just like so happy. And when you sent me those pictures, a couple days ago, I screamed like, "My
he
baby's looking so
and
good."
he told me, and like I said, he is part of his mom. It's no way I can make him not seem like his mom wasn't a part of who he
Mhm.
is. He told me I was going to cut his hair. I was dead set on cutting his hair. Um, and then I said something to him, and he looked at me. I think that was the first time he looked me dead in the eye, and he didn't say anything. And I was like, "You don't want me to cut your hair, do you?" And he told me no. And so I was like, "Okay." I said, "Let me call my niece. Let me see if she can come over here. She does hair." I said, "If she says your hair is healthy, we're gonna keep growing it out." The next day she showed up. She said, "Uncle, his hair is healthy. It's fine. It hasn't been
Mhm.
damaged like that." And I said, "Okay, that's good." I said, "Because he doesn't want to cut it." She said, "Okay, listen, his edges is a little rough. Just let it grow out." She said, "I'll get it, put his hair, I will wash his hair. We'll put it in a style that's comfortable for, his hair, and we'll take care of it." He got his hair done. That was the first time I seen him sit straight up. He was feeling his hair. So I was like, "You like your hair?" He was like, "Yeah." So it was so he was okay with telling me he's okay with telling me what he do like and he don't like, is what I'm trying to say. So
Right.
he's talking to me. That's at least good.
Well, how is school going?
Yeah.
How was the first day of school? Was he excited? Was he nervous? Is it a? I imagine it's a better school because it's a better neighborhood. So how is
so
he?
so he's not in school yet. So I picked him up on Thursday. We had a snowstorm on Friday. So they closed all the schools. I'm waiting. I just got the paperwork from CPS for to allow him to start school. I got his medical records. CPS has been on top of it. So I just got it today. I'm looking to enroll him tomorrow. So I'm
Uh,
sure how the schools work. I can get the paperwork going tomorrow, but he may not be going until Wednesday. So I'll keep you updated about his first day because I'm excited to see him on his first day too.
I know,
me
Um,
right?
Because I want him, like the thing that has bothered me with her and all of her children was the deficit when it came to their education. The
yeah,
reading, simple math skills, that bothered me. Cause Ty tells you this and anybody else in the chat that know me know I don't play by schoolwork. C is a DEF CON 3 in my house and I don't like it. So when I heard the kids reading
yeah.
or the fact most of them couldn't read really bothered me. So I'm really overly excited to hear how school goes, and I imagine it's a much better school. So
We talked about that as a family, and we talked about that as a family. My wife, and my older two boys. My older two boys is 21. My 21-year-old is in college. And my 17-year-old, he's in his junior year. So that's one of the things, and they both live with me. So that's one of the things that we talked about is I was like, listen, I was like, how I feel about literacy. And my 17-year-old was like, yes, I know, Dad. Because I used to make him read to me every night. And he's a phenomenal student right now. He's a motivation. I gotta motivate him to get good grades. So he's funny about that. But anyway, we talked about it, and we were like, yo, my 17-year-old said, "Yo, we got him. He gonna be reading on a high level, and he's competitive too. My 17-year old and him are very competitive. Like I watched them play the video game, and they're very competitive. So my son was like, "Yo, we got him. We got him. He got to read better than everybody in that school. I got him. He gonna outread all of them. So we gonna work on that." We gonna get him up to speed, and we gonna have him blowing it out the water. We gonna work on that, and we
I'm
gonna do it
excited.
as a family.
I am excited. That made my day. God is good.
Yes,
Yeah, we go
indeed.
we gonna have him, and he's already intelligent, right? He's already smart. He's very observant. Um, and so what I learned is when, especially, and I only can talk about boys because I got boys. I wish I had a girl, and I'm sure all of us wish we had a girl. But with boys, when they're observant and when they pay attention to little details, they want to learn. They just want
Hmm.
somebody to take time to teach it to them. And listen, I'm married, so I've learned patience. I'm married and I want to stay married, so I've learned patience. So I can be patient with him, and we can go through it. I got him. We got him.
I'm so excited to hear this. This
I
made my
know
day.
it. Yes, yes, yes. So, like going forward, have you like, um, well, not going forward, like, have you seen like what he's interested in as far as with like sports? Do he like,
Heck yeah.
drawing? Do he?
Heck yeah. So
Hmm.
that's the first thing I do with my boys. I pay attention to them. So that's what I
Hmm.
did. That's why I've been quiet for a few days. I just watched them. One, I couldn't stop
Hmm.
smiling at them.
Oh,
So I just smiled at them and I just watched them. Um, and you know, and so as I watched them, I seen them interact with my sons. So one of my sons liked to draw. Hezekiah went over to him and was like, "Hey man, that's nice." So my son gave him a page out of his book and said, "Why don't you try to draw?" And so he started drawing. So he likes to draw. He likes art. Um, and then, we got video games. And of course, I got boys. We got video games for days. Too many to tell you the truth. So I watched the games he played. Um, and he likes basketball. He absolutely likes basketball. But it makes sense because I come from a sports family, from basketball to football. I got cousins that played college level. I got my cousin's son just was playing for Notre Dame. So we are a strong academic and sports family. We so it makes sense that he has a competition spirit, but he loves basketball. Um he likes football. He loves basketball, but likes football. He draws a lot, and and again, he has a competition spirit. So that's the thing that I've noticed about him so far. And he has a very, very, like, I'm trying to think of the way to say it. I have a baby in the house,
hmm.
and he's very gentle with him. Um, when,
What?
and it's funny because when we got to the house, my son, my baby immediately took his, because he and his walker, he walked up to
Mhm.
Hezekiah and just started playing with him, and Hezekiah
Oh,
started playing with him. So actually, it was my son who kind of broke the ice for him in the house, because he just walked up to him and started playing. It's like my younger son knew, like, yo, this guy I can deal with,
this is
and he's
my
like that with
brother.
his other brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like that with his other brothers. So when I see him move over to him, I'm like, okay, he has a spirit, a certain type of spirit for him. So he's very gentle with babies and kids. With the bigger kids, he a little rough. He'll talk his junk. He ain't backing down. But when it comes down to the baby, he is gentle. He tries to see if he's okay. He's asked my wife, is he okay? He's like, is he okay? Do he need anything? Um, so he has a very gentle kind of soul. So again, he's coming into it with older brothers and younger brothers. So he's falling in. He's been doing good. I'm a little handling things too.
Do you see any need, a possible need for him to have therapy after, you know, coming from where he's coming from?
Yes, yes. I think all the kids need therapy. I think the
Oh,
parents need therapy. I think the kids need therapy because we don't know completely what went on in the house. And I think that in the way that they love their mom, I don't think that they're willing to reveal everything. And that's so I heard somebody say something, and they said our first love comes from our mom. And they went to say our only love comes from our mom. I think we have that attitude, but it's not a healthy attitude to have. I got two boys, including Hezekiah right now, that are being raised by me and not their moms. So I get that. I get that statement is true, because a lot of people in our community has been raised with just a mom. But you got to understand that love from a parent, period, whether it's a male or a woman, you know, they have. And so they want to protect her. And I can tell that he wants to protect her. I can tell. So that's why I won't ask him a lot of questions. But there's some things that therapy will help him. And I don't care to have to know everything if therapy can help him manage through it. Now, I'll be there to guide him through everything, but I think there are some things that he may have to deal with on his own, especially with dealing with his mom. And I don't want to make her out to be anything she hasn't already made herself out to be, because as you see, I don't have to say anything
no, he
negative
did a good
about her.
job all
She
by
can.
herself.
So my thing is, anytime I've got online and I asked her to stop, is because I don't want our kids to see that. Stop it where it is. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that I did that, because now that I have my son and I know how much he loves her, I wouldn't I don't regret asking her to stop. Because actually he wants her to stop.
Okay.
And I think that was probably the biggest issue, is that she didn't hear when people told her to stop. They just didn't really like it. Um, so yeah.
Well, I'm excited for progress.
Yes,
I'm,
me
I'm
too.
excited for change. I'm excited for an opportunity for him to know what it's like to have his daddy, to know that his daddy does exist, that he did not miss out on the opportunity to have daddy and have brother, and have a motherly figure in his life. Even though that's not his bio mom, he still gets to have, a taste of what a real mama is supposed to be. And so I'm
Yeah.
excited for him to have that, because you don't have to be blood to have somebody to love you. And
No, you don't.
and I think
And
he
that's
getting
right.
ready to figure it out. and see that
and
firsthand. And I'm
that's
excited for
and that's the thing too, I'm a stepdad. So when I say that, when I talk about my boys, my 21-year-old, you never heard me call him my stepson. That's actually my stepson, but he's my boy.
that.
Um,
Our mind bonus.
and that you ain't got to say, you ain't got to about him. But I've always make sure he understands that, yeah, I might be dad, but you still have your father. That's the one thing that we are not ever going to do in our house is act like the other parent don't exist. What we do tell our boys is continue to pray that something change within the other parent and then y'all relationship change. That's what we always do. And that's what we say. We ain't got no time to be bashing another parent because we understand how hard it is to be a parent. So there's no need to bash the other parent. That's why I don't have anything negative to say to her. Another thing, never needed to ask anybody for anything. She's and she has contacted me. I've tried to whether she accepted it or not was another. People can
Hold on, Jerrod. I'm
I
not
wanted her
sure if
to
you're in
do.
the area. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Are you in the area? Because you were
Oh,
breaking up and it was hard to hear you for a second.
okay. What's the last thing you heard?
You don't bash the other parent. You keep them in prayer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't do that because we understand how hard it is to be a parent. And so because we understand how hard it is to be a parent, we don't have time to bash another parent. But we figure, and I tell my boys all the time, we're not perfect, we make mistakes. So it's no way I'm going to hold another parent to not making mistakes. And that's just how we going to be. I don't have anything crazy to say towards her. Um but I will say this: she's never needed anything with me being around. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. She could have always called me and asked me for anything. Um, I gave her child support for 8 years. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not completely 8 years. I think the child support didn't start until he was like one or two. But she's never needed if she called me. If she accepted it or not was another thing. She does a lot of accepting if she wants to. That's another thing that it's hard to explain that to people, but it's easy to explain it to the people on here because I think you guys have seen her. People try to give her advice and she pick and choose what she wanted to take in. That's how she has been with me my entire time knowing her. She pick and chooses when she wants me to be present or anything. I can't You can't do anything when you dealing with a person like that. That's hard because you want to help, but you that if a person isn't willing to receive it, it falls on deaf doors all the time. So that's something that I'm going to continue to ask people to pray for her in particular, that as that she kind of accept certain help and accept certain people and accept certain things, that's trying to help her, because I believe that a lot of people on here actually tried to help her, but she rejected it. That's my opinion.
100%. I
Yes,
agree
I agree.
100%. And not that
Hmm.
this matters, but it's just out of curiosity for me because I hear you speak about the Lord all the time. What type of church do you attend? What denomination?
So you gonna kill me with this one. I haven't so the church that I go to now is my cousin's church. And I'm still figuring out where I belong. You know what I'm saying? I follow it's Christian values in my house, but I'm
Hmm.
just gonna be honest with you. You gotta, as you become adult, you start looking at things in reality.
Hmm.
And then you see things. I grew up in the church and I grew up around church people. Notice how I said church people and church is two different things. And you see a lot of negativity and things that go on. You got people who go to church every day and they're evil. And then you got people who actually attend to be good. So I'm still trying to figure out a place that's best for me. Right now, my cousin has a church and he does it online and it's through Zoom and it's through his Facebook. And I usually help with that. Um, I help him with that. So I'm Christian. I'm helping build Christianity is what I like to say. uh at the moment, but I'm still figuring out where God wants me to be is spiritually. So until then, I'm saying Christianity, but that could change next year, you know.
I can respect that. I can respect that. Works for me.
Yeah, and
You
I'm
know,
and
he
I'm right with you on that, Gerard. I'll just, pray to my higher power and keep it moving.
and let me say this, it's hard, it's easy when you're a kid to believe what everybody tell you. It's hard when you're an adult and went through things to believe everything that was being told to you. So I
Hmm.
think we have to go through life and figure that spiritual part out. Um, and so to help you out also, my 21-year-old is a Christian. He goes to his own church. He plays music. My 17-year-old, he believes in he believes that the world is what it is. He doesn't not sure about Christianity. He's not sure about any of that. My other sons, their mom is a Christian, so she raised them with Christian values. So my sons is whatever is I'm helping them to figure out what they are willing to be and what they want to do. Because I'm not going to be here forever, and they need to figure out what they want to do spiritually. I tell them they need to have some type of spiritual relationship. That's what I do say. Some type of spiritual relationship. Gandhi, Buddha, whatever you want to believe in, you know what I'm saying? You need to believe in it. Muslim, you find something that gives you a base. Find something that gives you a base because not everybody needs a base, but most people need a base. That's how I believe.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind sharing with the people, as far as I know, like your wife, she's acceptance, of Jeremiah, I mean not Jeremiah, I'm sorry, Hezekiah. um so how do you want to share, like, as far as of how she feels about Muriel?
Um, so first of all, my wife is dope. You know what I'm saying? I made a lot
Period.
of bad decisions. Listen. I only have one child with my wife, so that
Hmm.
means that I'm bringing a bunch of kids from different women, and so I made a lot of mistakes in my younger years, and I had to figure out that. So when I met my wife is a wonderful person. I don't deserve her. By the grace of God that I got her. And let me
Yes, you
tell
do
you, let
deserve
me
her.
tell you,
You deserve it.
she picked me. She picked me. So
Mm,
that means that God led her to me. So
yeah.
I never take that to granted. You know what I'm saying? I was bad at picking women. I was, apparently. But let
We
me
know
also
that.
say
We
this
can
too.
agree with that. That we can agree with that 100%. Amen, life.
you
You were
know,
young. You was young. You was young. You were young.
but
Immature.
but so my wife has been wonderful. I told my wife before we got married, the one thing that I learned is you give people the option. So before I got married, I told my wife, like, listen, these are the things that I've done in my life. I have a kid that I really would like to have a relationship with. That was Hezekiah. And I said,
Hmm.
I don't know how it's going to be. I said, the most I can do is wait till he's old enough to where she's not influencing him. And then I can hope that I didn't damage him and then we can have a relationship. This is what I told my wife before we were married. I told her that.
Okay.
So my wife has had several years to accept this, pull this in and everything. Me and my wife could not have kids. Because I had, I had a lot of weight on me and it wasn't healthy. My wife the same thing. And then just about during the pandemic, I was like, listen, I want to live for the boys. So I had to wind up, I lost like 90 to 100 and something pounds. So, and then ironically, we had another kid. We were trying, but it didn't work. So we wanted another kid. We wanted more kids. So to have one was a blessing, right? So to
That
add Hezekiah, my wife is ecstatic. She could care less. She wanted to adopt. So for to have him in the house, my wife loves it.
she's that.
You know, my
Oh,
wife is all for it. My wife, like just last night, she went, she went to the store. She asked Hezekiah, "Do you want to go with me?" It
mm-hmm.
was like, "Yo, I'm about to wash his clothes. Do you want me to wash it?" She's always talking to him. She always, yeah, she's hanging out with him. Like he hung out with her today while I went to work. My
Oh,
my wife was built to be a mother, but she only had one kid when I met her, but she wanted more. So my wife, my other boys love her. Like they can forget about me, but love her.
mm-hmm. Right,
So
that bond with
um
hers. Mm-hmm.
but let me get off of her, but because I can keep
Now
talking about
talk
her.
your shit,
I,
Um,
cause
I,
listen,
she is
but
stepmama status.
amazing. That's what I said. I mean, shoot, it's good
but
though, but it's wonderful to have women like
sh-
that in
she
this
handled
world.
it
You
like
know.
she handled it like a G. She was just like, yo, let's I told her, I was like, I gotta go and pick him up. She said, no, we going to pick him up. Um, I was
I know
like,
that's right.
all right, this is, I don't know what to expect. She said, this is what you do. She said, you go in that building alone because he should get to see you first before he
I
see
know
me.
that.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, I hear you. Okay. So it's my wife is a solid person. You know what I'm saying? And I listen
Sound
to
like
her.
it.
I've learned how to listen to her, but my wife also knows when to step back and let me be a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, don't treat him like that. Don't say things. So she has a really good balance. Her parents have been together for years, so she has a really good balance. My parents weren't together, but my parents had super respect for each other. Like my
Mm-hmm.
dad would not let me. I remember I got whooped 2 times in my whole life. No, I got yelled at by my dad 2 times in my whole time in my life, and both times was when I said something bad about my mom. And the one thing my dad said is, "You never talk bad about your mom because when I'm not around, she was there." So
Right.
my dad put inside of me a level of love and respect, even though he wasn't with my mom. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? To my dad dying day, the last week he was in this world, he said to me, I called him at the hospital and he said to me, hey, is your mom good? I called her and she didn't sound like herself. I said, don't worry, dad, I'll call her and I'll make sure she okay. That's how my dad was. So
Right.
um so I with my wife and her parents that respect each other and my mom and my dad who weren't married and respect each other, it's nothing but a lot of respect. So their relationship has been pretty solid so far. She talks to him. She's pulling them out and hanging out with them separate from me. I think it is going to be a different. It's definitely is a culture difference because I'm a certain way. It's been he's been gelling. He's been kind of jumping in with everybody. They went to the and my wife got out to grab the groceries. he,
Breaking up.
you know what I'm saying? So he does. So
You faded out.
let me
We
say
lost
this.
you at my wife got out to get the
Okay.
groceries.
Oh, okay. So my wife got out to get the groceries. And so when she went to go grab the groceries, Hezekiah jumped out of the car and said, "No, let me grab them," and took them out of her hand and brought them in the house. one thing I want to say is we don't really. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I think sometimes we don't appreciate little stuff like that. And I feel a certain way that I do. I will say this. I feel a certain way about how Muriel showed them on the app because she didn't really show how dope these kids are. Um, I heard I, I talked to Cooper and I hear how he talk about his son. His son is dope. I heard him talk about the girls and he having fun. I'm talking to my son and he's a dope kid. I don't think they got enough love. I don't think people they got to see how dope these kids really are. It wasn't I truly believe it wasn't them. It was mostly her. You know, that's probably as far as negativity I'll say about her is I don't think it was the kids. I think it was her. Because I haven't seen anything that would make me say these kids is terrible. I just haven't.
And you're not the only one. We had received an update from where, from the person who has Jeremiah, Samaya, and Israel. And she also
Hmm.
stated that, and actually with Jeremiah, she's speaking on all of them. And she said they are doing very well at the house with her. She doesn't understand or could even identify, where the problem was. Um, or what their problem was, at the house, but they're doing just fine. You know, they 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 eating good and eating all their food, and I
Yeah.
guess the kids are respecting who they're with. So she don't know what was going on at home. That's what she said. She don't know what's going on at home, but they're doing just they're doing wonderful there with her. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I mean I wish I could I, I'm speechless because like I
Mhm.
said, there's normal things, right? Like,
Mhm.
he's not used to certain things, right?
Right.
We're a little organized in the house. He's not very organized. That's something you can teach. You know,
Yeah.
he doesn't appreciate certain things. Well, he doesn't know how to appreciate things because he's never had a lot of good things,
That's
right?
right.
Fact.
So those are things that don't make you a bad kid. That just make you a
Mhm.
kid that hasn't experienced things. So because you haven't experienced it and you haven't seen people appreciate it, he doesn't know. He didn't. He, we appreciate. My, we keep the car clean because we appreciate it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Right.
We keep the refrigerator full because we appreciate people eating. We do certain things because we appreciate. So it's going to eventually show him to appreciate the same things because we appreciate it. If you don't show appreciation, they're not going to show appreciation. And I truly believe that it may have been the case is that they didn't see certain appreciations on her behalf and they in turn, reacted off of that. But, you know, his mouth ain't crazy. His mouth is crazy, but it ain't crazy like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No,
He
he will
don't
get
back
back
down.
with you. Right. He don't
Yeah,
back
he don't
down.
back
My
down.
boy don't back down for
He
nobody.
don't
So
back
that's
down.
what right.
So that's not a punishment situation. That's a teach
Mhm.
him how to manage that situation.
Right. Teachable
You
moment.
get what I'm saying? Yeah,
Mhm.
you teach them how to manage that. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you can't do that to the teacher. You do that to the teacher, there's some punishment that go on with that. And I gotta punish you.
Mhm.
Do you really want me to punish you because you can't keep your mouth in check? Of course he's gonna act different. Yo, I don't want my dad to get on me, so let me react different. Of course, you just talk to him in a way to help them understand that there's cause and effect. And I think that he is mature enough to understand that he has, through my conversations with him, he showed me that he's mature enough to understand certain conversations.
Mhm. That's great. So, it was times that, as far as with school, there, Hezekiah was like I guess she has stated that, a few times that he had gotten suspended. Um,
Mhm.
do you think that, that situation will change for him since he's going to be going to a new school and is going to be in a new environment? Do you
Well,
think his,
he can't
behavior
get
will
suspended
improve?
on my watch. He can't get suspended on my watch. We don't
I
have
know
Right.
that's right.
that.
I
I
know
know
We
that's
don't
that's
right.
have that.
right.
But what we will do is we will assess every situation, and I will help him understand where he's not right, or where he may be
Mhm.
right. That's what we gonna do. But he doesn't. I told him that the way we do things in the house is, if I don't
Mhm.
do it, you can't do it in the house. So that's my way of keeping me in check and keeping them in check. So if you don't see me walking around cussing out my wife, you can't go around cussing out a woman. If you don't
I
see
know
me, if I ain't cussing you out, then you can't go into that school and cuss somebody out. If you don't see me do it, and trust me, I can say this to y'all. I have every means to cuss somebody out. And if I can compose myself and not cuss somebody out, you can hold your composure and not cuss somebody out. So, and
Mhm.
that's how I'm going to come at him, and that's how I choose to deal with him. And I think I think his behavior is different now. So I don't see myself having too many crazy things with him, and he seems to want to learn.
I know that's right.
That's the part that
Yes,
I
he
don't
does.
understand. He seems to want to, but he does like validation. Um, so he likes to do something and hear you say, "Yo, you did good." So that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here.
Right.
That's my number one job as a dad, is to help give validation, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
His hair looked
Positive
nice. I told him,
reinforcement.
"You looking
Yes.
good." You know what I'm saying? He walking through the mall, he got some new shoes on. I it's crazy because my sons seen him and was like, "Yo, man, them kicks look nice. You look nice." It's because they give validation. They say nice things because I'm always saying it to them. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
I randomly give my 17-year-old a kiss on his forehead. I don't
I
care.
know that's
You
right.
my son. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
Period.
saying? So and so the same thing with Hezekiah. Every time he go to sleep, good night, kiss on the forehead. If nobody told you, I'm not looking for him to say I love you back to me. If you,
Mhm.
every single day you gonna hear me say I love you. One,
You.
I'm making up for
Mhm.
all the 8 years I couldn't say it. That's one. Two, that's just
Yes.
who I am. If you don't hear it from anybody, you ain't never gonna hear it as much as I do. My wife always make fun of me because she be like, "You just gonna tell them you love them every single day, every time." I love you. I tell my boys when they leave out to go to school, because my oldest son sometimes drop off my 17-year-old to school, and I say, "Yo, I love you. Drive safe." If don't nobody say it, you gonna hear it from me.
Period.
My son went out of town. Um, a couple weeks ago, and I randomly sent him a text message while he was in Florida, and I said, "Yo, I just want you to know I love you, and I'm proud of you. You doing good. You working. You in college. I love you." What what? He getting all of that, and Hezekiah gonna get all of that too. He gonna get
As
all
he
of it,
should.
and guess what? Ain't nothing he can do about it. That's how I
I
I
feel
know
know
about
that's
that's
that.
right.
right. I know
Well,
that's right.
listen,
Cause
let me ask you
I,
this. Uh, Go ahead, Ty. I'm sorry.
I know, cause I just wanted to say this, that I say it all the time. Kids are sponges. So what you say and what you do, it kind of reflects, or projects off to them. So if you speak, if you say certain things or certain words, they will repeat. You understand what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
when she was
Yep.
in the house, not bashing her, but it's the truth. When she's in the house, cussing and talking to them, as if they are niggas and bitches off the street, that's how the
Yeah.
kid's going to talk to her. So when you are saying things like, I love you, you look handsome today, or you look good, and make the kids feel special and good about themselves, and installing these good words in them, they're going to say it back.
Yeah.
And she was just messing up when she was talking like that. It irked my nerve when she
And,
spoke to those kids like that,
and you know,
and I just felt
and
like
you
that was so wrong.
why
Well, piggybacking off of what
no
you said, Ty, some of the
know what's
things that she
he
said
watches.
around them. Go ahead, Gerard.
Oh, I'm sorry, what you say, Gerard?
Yeah, yeah, hold on, before you go, you know what's wild? He watches everything I do.
Hmm.
And the weird thing is, yeah, he probably watching me because he's still trying to learn how to trust me. And that's one of the reasons I asked him, is he okay with me talking online? Because I want to build a level of trust. But not only that, he watches me. Everything I do,
Hmm.
when I'm cooking, when I'm walking around the house, when I'm talking to people, when I'm holding the baby, he's watching everything I'm doing, which lets me know he trying to see if this is who I am today, tomorrow, yesterday, and on. And I have to prove to him that this is who I am. This is your dad. This is what I do. And we say sometimes we ain't got to prove nothing to our kids. Yes, we do. We got to prove that
Oh
we
yeah.
love them. We do.
Hmm.
We do.
Yes.
I'm saying, because if we don't, they're gonna try to find that love somewhere else, or through
Or in
something that's
something else.
negative. So
Yep.
again, yeah. So again, I him me, and he tried to stay as I, because he wants to be as he should. Period. He should watch me. Just like we watch everybody else. We watch people
Hmm.
we go to work with. We watch people. So he
Right.
should be watching me. And I should add up to some of his expectations. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
that's it.
And that's
Well, let me
wonderful.
ask you this. Muriel has basically, from what we can see on this app, has been teaching her kids to hate or dislike white people and gay people. And I caught a little glimpse of one of your babies, so I want to say it's safe to say that maybe they're biracial. And so I asked that question that,
Oh man.
because this is something that she teaches. How do you plan on kind of, I guess, undoing the damage done with that whole situation?
You can't do that in my life. My 17-year old, his mom is white. Um my wife is Asian. My
Okay.
son is Asian and black. My oldest son, and I'm saying this because we are a very biracial family. My other two sons, they're black. He is coming into complete culture different. He has to understand that it's about loving everybody. He can't afford you can't afford to live in this world and not love everybody. Now, what do I teach? This is what I teach. I love black people more than I love anybody else. You can't get me to say that. It's been times where some stuff has happened, and I'm sitting in the car with my wife, and I look at her and I say, "You ain't gonna get me to say nothing bad about black people. You ain't gonna do it." Because I love who I am. Just because I marry somebody different, I love who I am. I'm going to teach Hezekiah to love who he is. He's going to marry who he wants to marry. Just like I teach my
Mhm.
sons, you are who you are. My oldest son is Asian. My 21-year-old is Asian. He wants to marry somebody that's Asian. That's what you do. Love is love. You know what I'm saying? We don't play. I don't play that in my house. I don't play that. It's my friend. When my friends came over this weekend, I got friends since middle school. You got black friends, white friends, Indian friends. They showing up. Now, my high school I went to was only black people, but these is people, some of these people I met along the way. Asian people, Indian people, Chaldeans. That's what my life consists of. My life consists of all different type of people, and we learn how to respect everybody a certain way. Are we going to be more prejudiced towards our people? Absolutely. I love my people more than anything. You ain't gonna get me to deny that. And that's how he will be. You're gonna love who you are, because the first way, the first to love yourself, you have to love you have to love everything about you. You have to love your hair, you have to love your color, you have to love your skin, and then you can figure out how to love other people. So absolutely, you know what I'm saying? It's a culture shock for him, but that's cool because he need it. But he's still gonna know he a black man, and I'm raising him to be a black man, and he gonna love his black self. That's what it
All
is.
right. Now, what
So
about
my
the gay
mixed
people? Because
son,
she hates gay people. She
listen,
absolutely
ain't no
preaches, and
such.
she has preached to them about men laying with men, hell, you name it. Put ones in
You
the
know,
chat if y'all heard her speak against gay people before.
you know what's crazy about that? You know what's crazy about that? I tell my 17-year-old, because I recommend my 17-year-old, my 21-year-old not to date right now. But what I tell them is, I'm raising them to be good men, to one day go out there to be good husbands, whether that's to a man or a woman. I'm raising you to be a good man, to be a good partner or a good husband. Let, let, let me see. Let me that girl I'm not gonna do that. Um,
You know, you always free to do it here.
listen, no, I'm not gonna do it. We, if you were raised in the black culture, right? You went to church, right? The first gay people we seen was choir directors. Not saying every
Ain't
choir
that
director
that's
was
the
gay.
truth?
Now
Nah, the
we
minister of
was
music.
raised. Now we, how in the hell you gonna tell me you bias against gay people? And we were raised in situations. If you didn't have, we had crackheads walk down the street that was given for crack. So you telling me we've been around gay people my whole life? Every, if you lived in the hood, if you went to church, how you gonna hate gay people?
Hey,
And
well,
that's a part of our culture. That's a part of who we are. If you dislike it because of your religion, go ahead, keep being hateful. But that's also why I told you earlier, I have to figure out my spiritual background, because
uh-huh.
i can't I can't do certain things that certain churches want me to do. I'm not going to be angry at somebody because they're not what they're not Christian enough, or they're not Muslim enough. I can't do that. So that's why I'm saying I'm figuring out my Christian walk as well, because I don't always agree with everything. You know,
I can respect that.
that's just it. But he can't afford to hate white people. He can't afford to hate gay people, because everybody gonna be around me, and I come from a business family. I'm an engineer, and we always around people, always. You know what I'm saying? And so if he gonna be something one day, which I know he is because I see him, I can see it in him. He gonna be around all different type of people, and he gonna have to integrate with all different type of people. And I'm gonna be there to teach him how to respect everybody. Watch him, but also respect him enough. You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
So, Cola, James, did you have any questions for Gerard, sis?
No, sis, y'all hit everything on the head. Gerard, praises to you. You are a stand-up guy, and we knew from the beginning that all them kids needed was a change of atmosphere, and it would bring out the best of them. So salute to you for getting your son. You're dope. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
Well, on a in
I'm.
a joking, I got a jokingly question, but I guess she may be kind of
Go
serious.
ahead.
Um,
Go ahead.
my petty sister on this app, Scorpio Sniper, has inquired that, if you may want to take on a sister wife, because she likes what she's hearing. She likes what she hearing.
No.
Scorpio, can you say something in the comments? She's a beautiful woman. She got nice heavy bosom. I mean, hey, y'all might be on to something.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all might be on to something.
Oh goodness gracious! No, but
But there she
this is
go.
so wonderful, Gerard. I really appreciate you for coming over here and just and keeping us updated. Oh, he's in the blinds right now.
Shanice say it's more of us down here. Wait a minute now. How many sister wives y'all trying to get my man with now? I guess he go get that daughter after all. Y'all keep it up.
I'm so happy this happened today. This was a feel good time. Like this, you know what I'm saying? Like this was real nice to hear from him what's really going on with Hezekiah. Like
Yes,
it's
it's so
nothing but up
happy.
from here.
Well, y'all got to
And
remember. I see y'all in.
I'm a,
But I say
I know I'm gonna
Hezekiah,
see.
Hezekiah told him not to be on here too long, so we might have lost him.
Yeah, but I'm
I
gonna
don't
see if
know.
he's open to. Oh, okay. He lagged out. Well, he more than likely gonna come back. So I'm gonna just give him a chance to get back here.